It's Wednesday! So today's Shimelle sketch that we're going to be working with is this one right here. So this sketch calls for a very large photo, a title here, and then some embellishments or paper down below. So, changes to this sketch. I only really have two that I'm going to do. The first one is my photo. So you can see here that on the sketch there's a border. We're not going to use a border. I got this photo printed at Persnickety Prints. I got it printed at 8 by 12 for this sole purpose of scrapbooking it with this sketch. This is a photo of my youngest son. He just turned 13, and I had my favorite photographer take him and do some professional photos in front of these murals that they have all over my town, and they turned out beautiful. So I chose one of my favorite photos from the photo session. There will be more. You'll see tons of them. I ended up with like 40 beautiful photos of my son. But of course, we're not going to scrapbook them all like this. So I got this one developed quite large, and it's 12 by 8, so I'm not going to have any of that border. The other thing that I am kind of going to do different from the sketch is that I'm going to do down here, but then to balance it a bit, I'm going to add a little cluster up here at the top. And this cluster might end up being my title, whereas this down here might end up being some journaling. I haven't quite sorted that out yet. For my products, I'm going to be using Shimelle's Field Trip collection. So I have all of Shimelle's Field Trip collection plus more than that. I have 2 of every paper and all that. And when I have collections that I want the entirety of, I order them from Christina at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club because she waits until she has all the pieces together, so I'm not getting them in little chunks like you do sometimes if you pre-order. And she will, she'll order. So you might wait a little longer, but you're going to get exactly what you want. So if you just want this part or that part, whatever, just tell her what you want and she'll send it, put it together for you. So I bought the entire collection from her plus 2 of every sheet of paper. So I pulled out some of these rainbow, like I like this polka dot, I like this rainbow paper. I like, I have some bits and pieces here, pieces I'm thinking about fussy cutting and stuff like that. So I have lots of options, and even though I kind of limited from the collection a bit with these, I have the rest of the collection, or the rest of it, just right off to my side, so if I want to pull in from there. So one thing I thought maybe I would do is this paper. I keep seeing these lovely people, including Shimelle, do tone-on-tone embellishments onto this rainbow piece, and I was thinking that might be a really fun option down below. Now, I don't like it just like this. I don't like that. I think it needs broken up a bit. But once you add some of the polka dot in between, like once you add some of that polka dot in between and then have a clustered area here and a clustered area there, I think that it would be really cool to pull stickers and icons and things that really describe my son and remind me of my son and kind of place them down here color on color, just a little bit across the bottom. So that's my plan. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'm going to put you on fast forward now and we will get started on our layout. Okay, so as I get my photo down and get my paper situated down across the bottom, I wanted to tell you very quickly that I have a guest designer joining me, sometimes 2 or 3 over the month. So every 3rd Wednesday, I will be inviting another fellow YouTuber to join me and to play with the same sketch that I'm playing with. So for today, it is Beth Solar, who owns Rock Your Notebook, and I will have her YouTube channel down below. So you can run over to her, you can pop over to her channel and take a look at her interpretation of this sketch too. So I matted my photo onto just a cheap cardstock, just nothing fancy, something that is too textured to cut in my silhouette and that I don't really want to use as a full background because I'm not a fan of textured cardstock. So I just am going to use it. I'm going to cover it all up, and that helps me to conserve some of my beautiful field trip paper. I'm going to go ahead and add a lot of the cooler colors from this collection to the bottom, primarily because that photo has a ton of orange and red in it, and so I want to make sure that all of my rainbow colors are distributed kind of evenly throughout the page. But I'm going to do that by using these beautiful green strips. Shimelle has the best green ever in her collections. From the cut apart sheet, I chose this blue 3x4 card. I'm going to use it as that title piece that's in the sketch, but I'm going to put my journaling on it. As you can see here, I'm just journaling with my Muji pen. Over that blue 3x4 card, I added this pink die cut that says Noted, and it's a super cute little shape. And what I'm going to do is, as you see me continue to work through this layout, I'm going to go ahead and tuck die cuts into and around that shape so that it looks kind of like a pocket. So I'm just journaling here. There are a couple of stories I want to tell about this photo shoot, and then there are a couple pages I want to do that describe just my son generally at this age. So I decided for this particular journaling, I would journal about how he chose his outfit, and he went shopping online himself for the leather jacket that he wanted for these pictures. And it's interesting because he's so different from his brother, and his older brother would just wear whatever I told him to wear, and this one is like, no, I'm going to shop online and find what I want to wear. So I have my journaling done, and I put those 3 little tickets across the bottom. And now I'm looking through these die cuts. Most of these are not going to make it onto my layout. I think the only 2 I end up using is that little viewfinder down at the bottom, and then I'm going to use that big viewfinder up at the top. So I'm going to call this layout quite decidedly a little bit of distracted scrapbooking because I shot this, I created this at a time of day that I usually don't create because it does get, I'm needed by my son and different things. So when I was shooting this, when I was editing this, I was taking out a lot of things of me, like answering emails and answering text messages and talking to my kids and everything. So it's kind of funny. We're going to call this one distracted scrapbooking. So I took that viewfinder and I put the bulk of it up in the top left where I wanted it to go. And now I'm taking that little offcut and I'm tucking it under my card. And what that's going to do is it's just going to bring the same colors, same shapes, different things down to the bottom. 2 of my very favorite elements from this collection are the viewfinders and the spirographs. So cool. I have every intention of making a layout primarily with that spirograph paper and those elements. So this is the puffy thickers. I love these. These are so cool. So I want to use them up, and I'm determined that I'm going to get them all onto titles. So as I could go on here. So I thought that I would use this Cool Kid one, and then because the Cool Kid one is that green color, I decided I wanted to pair it with something just ever so slightly bolder, and so I went with this Super. So the title of our page is going to be Super Cool Kid. Very, very cool. And that made my title so easy. And it worked. The title worked with my journaling because my journaling talks about him picking out his clothes and how he was like super picky about what he picked out and all that kind of stuff. So it worked really, really well. So I'm going to stake these down now. I will tell you that when I went to photograph this layout for social media, these puffy thickers fell off and they have to get some extra glue. So word to the wise, just start it out by plopping some glue behind them. I use Nuvo Deluxe adhesive because it just seems like it holds really well. I'm going to go ahead and I'm being a little fiddly with this title because I want it to like nestle in just right. I want it to feel like it's one whole title. I want the letters to kind of fit into each other and it be straight. So this did take me a bit, because when you're working with a page where most of your page is your photo, you need the rest of the elements to kind of be a statement, right? You need to be able to really kind of like be like, good, okay, you're not going to lose the title in that picture, which is why I, again, went with colors that were not the oranges and the reds. Okay, next up is Fussy Cutting Like a Crazy Woman. So this is one of the papers from the collection. I have 2 of all the papers, so I have a second one that I actually used as a background for another layout. So I intentionally, when she has papers like this, I intentionally buy 2, one to fussy cut and one to use as a background. Because usually there's one side that has all these beautiful little things to cut apart and work with, and then the other side is usually something easy like a leisure. So I'm just going through all of these things. This was, again, a little fiddly because I just went a little border down across the bottom. I'm not looking for a lot of interest down there. I want something that's tone on tone and kind of easy on the eyes, so that if you're looking at it closely to get all of the details, you'll see them. But if you're not looking closely, you just kind of, the whole of the layout kind of blends together and looks well. And I didn't want to make it too busy. So I am going to be, I cut apart little snips and pieces, and then I'm going to add some little stickers and some puffy things down across the bottom. And you can see here, like, this was a little tricky, I have to tell you. I thought this was going to be like super easy, just to like grab stickers and a couple little fussy cut pieces and be like plonk, 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 plonk. But no, it was a little bit more time consuming than I had initially thought it would be. Some of that was because, you know, I did this. I fussy cut a bug. But other things were just things just didn't match exactly the way I wanted, or the icons weren't the right icons. It really did take, I was surprised that it was a little more time consuming than I had initially thought that it would be, because I wasn't being super picky. I just wanted the colors to match. I guess I was being super picky because I also wanted the scale to match too. So yeah, okay, I was being picky. Never mind. Moving on then. I'm still fussy cutting, FYI. So now I went through the sticker book and I pulled out some of these elements, and I'm tucking all those things into underneath that strip. I love how that turns out. It's colorful, it's cute, it brings your eye to the journaling. It doesn't, so that the journaling doesn't get hid with all the color, and it's really nice. So I'm going to kind of flick through these die cut shapes. I want something on the other side. So I have the view, the bit of the Viewmaster, and all that color on the right. I want to put something on the left just to kind of tuck in there. And after a lot of back and forth, you can see here, I'm putting like every die cut known to man, or known to this collection, in on this side of the page, trying to figure out which one I like the best. But in the end, I'm just going to go with that leaf. It worked really well right there. And then I'm going to grab, again, that lovely paper that I'm fussy cutting all the things to. And I'm going to, there's these little laser guns in there, and I'm going to fussy cut that because my son at this age, 13, he loves science and he loves Star Trek. He's all about Star Trek. And for some reason, that little laser gun, I was like, Star Trek. I'm sure that the laser guns in Star Trek don't look anything like these. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the laser guns on this pattern paper are like, they remind me of like the Toy Story laser guns, but they mean Star Trek in my world. So I'm looking through everything here, trying to decide what I want to do. I'm adding some stars, some puffy stars, and puffy little enamel dots. I love these little extra embellishments that are on this puffy thicker set. They're so nice. I'm like, if you are someone who only needs a couple little embellishments with a collection, these would be the best. They're like double duty. I'm telling you, they're so cool. Okay, sprinkling these around tone on tone. getting the bottom fleshed out the way that I would like it to be. Okay, so here's that little laser gun I was talking about. I added some pop dots to certain areas of this layout, just like I always do. Quite often I will do this just to add a little more dimension to certain things. And now I feel like this layout is done. I really wanted something on the other side. And I like how that little laser gun is kind of pointing towards the journaling. So I'm going to add these three little dots, and even with this view, that little, that bright blue star over there, I shouldn't have put a blue one there. It stuck out like a sore thumb to me, and it looked a little bit like garish. So as I'm putting down these pop dots, I'm like, I don't like that star. So I'm going to bend up a couple of these edges just to give it some lift and a little bit of dimension. I'm adding some little foam tape to the back of some of these areas where things are just kind of naturally popping up a bit. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pull that star, enamel star, up, and I'm going to replace it with a pink one. And I'm not sure if I do that on camera here or if oh no, I do it on camera. So as much as the puffy stickers don't stick, the enamel dots do. They stick quite well. And so I'm just going to replace it with pink because I want you to be able to see it, but I don't want it to be quite so like contrasting, I guess would be the word. And here we have some close-ups. Be sure to head over and check out Beth's video in her interpretation of the sketch. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much for making this video series so much of a success. I have been loving all your comments, and I have been really enjoying this. This is probably one of my very favorite series to do. I look forward to it every week. I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye.